Hey guys, this is John with CheatSheetPros.com, and I wanted to do a new member video focused more on sports betting. We've been on a little bit of a hot streak on Reddit and had a couple of posts blow up, so I know a lot of people are coming over to give us a try. And I had over 200 direct messages overnight on Reddit, and it was overwhelming. And I can't even look at all of them, let alone respond to all of them. So for the people that are coming over, they're giving us a try and signing up, I want to explain to you how I get my plays and how you can go look at these plays yourself. So I'm going to do a quick new member video. And again, if you're not one of our premium members, we do post these sheets for free on Thursday in our free Facebook group, and I'll put the link below. But I'm going to start with last night's sheet, and then we're going to look at today's sheet, and I'll show you how the sheet works, how you can look for plays, and some of the other stats. If you want a more in-depth analysis of the sheet, there's tutorials that are on the website, CheatSheetPros.com, that will go into all of the individual boxes and what they mean and how to understand them. But this is just going to be a quick, high-level overview to kind of show you what I do when I pick out those plays that the model spits out. And I'll stand by it. I don't endorse any of the plays. Sometimes the model will spit out plays and I'm like, that is freaking retarded. And like last night, Golden State and the Knicks, I was like, wow, I'm shocked. Let's see what happens. And they end up going 4-0 and then 9-3 the night before. So we're on a nice little 13-3 two-day run. And how this started is one of my members messaged me and they said, John, if you give yourself a 5-point buffer, so if our average projection is more than 5 points off the Vegas line, those plays are killing it. So I said, okay, let me go back and see what happened. And that they were 9-3. And then I went back a few more days and they were like 7-4, 6-2, had a 4-4 day. So whenever I get time, I try to go back and look at them. So that's kind of how this got started. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So when you open up the NBA cheat sheet, you see all these tabs down here at the bottom. These are basically all fantasy stats related. So if you're not playing DFS, come over here to Bet tab or prop betting. Prop betting, I'll just quickly show you. This is if you're playing prize picks or you're doing individual player props. You type their name up here and then you get a whole bunch of stats. And again, there's other videos on that. As far as, excuse me, I'm drinking a cup of coffee. Sports betting, you want to be over here on the Bet tab. Now, one thing you notice every time you open up the sheet, and you'll see it when we open up today's sheet, you're going to see some text down here, and it's going to say running query. What that's doing, it's grabbing the Vegas line every time you open it. So when you open the sheet, wait about 10 seconds, it's going to grab and update that Vegas line. Because most of the time when I post this early in the morning, there are not a lot of lines out, or some games don't have a line yet, and it just auto updates. So that's the nice thing about it. I post the sheet in the morning, and then I post it again 60 to 90 minutes before lock, which is usually between 4:30 and 5:15 Central Time. So when you come in here, the first thing you do, you have the teams up here, and you notice when I click into the home team, this bottom one, this little drop down arrow with a caret pops up. This is where you pick your home team. So it's going to pull all of the home teams, and you can see there's some blank spaces down here. Just I've got enough rooms for a full slate, and then I delete them out if there's not a game that day. So we're going to start here at the top. Now this is from yesterday, so I've locked the sheet, so it's not going to pull any new spreads. The one place you need to look at is right here. This is where all of the plays are going to come from, and you can look through this sheet in about 60 seconds and determine which plays I'm going to put up in an article or a screenshot or on Twitter. Our range of outcomes is great for totals. It's going to give you a few scenarios of where we think this total is going to fall, and I would say about 70% of the games do fall inside this total. And then over here, our average of outcomes. So we've got our projected score, our projected total, and then we've got the Vegas line, or what our line would be, sorry. And then this box right here, this is where I get our plays. Everything falls on this box. So you see a difference of minus 2.4 and then 2.3. So I'm looking for anything with a difference of 5. So if it's more than 5 points, that's what we're saying, hey, make it a play. Teams you have to be careful of are like the Lakers. So if LeBron and Anthony Davis are both ruled out and we have a difference of 5, I probably wouldn't play that one. So you have to know a little bit about basketball because the model is going to spit it out, but it's not going to account for any big changes for on-off. Now you can manually calculate those, but that's a whole nother ball of wax and a whole different video. So we're looking at our average here, and we're getting that from right here. And these are the 3 models that we run. And then we take the average of the 3 models, and I bring it down here, and I just put everything in a nice, neat box. So if you don't want to look at anything else on this sheet, just look right here. So we could see Brooklyn, Detroit. Difference from Vegas was 2.5 points, so that really wasn't a play. We had it going over by 2.3 points, so that's not really a play. So then we would go on, look at the next game. So this is what I was doing yesterday. So here we see a difference of 7.3. This is the first game that came up as a play. And so we had it as I don't like doing the points, like 105.2, 105.3. I just keep it an even number. It's easy to read. So I just say we had this as a tight game. You know, we had New York winning or losing by 1. So it's a difference of about 7.3. So since that's greater than 5, New York was a play. You come up here, New York's getting 6.5 points. And what did they end up doing? I've got the Vegas deal over here. So here they are. So the Knicks end up losing by 2. So we had it roughly about 105, give or take. And it was 98-96. They covered the 6. So that was one of our 4-0 plays yesterday. The total was 2.3. That's within 5, so we don't like that. Then we come over here to Houston and New Orleans, and we've got a 2-way play. So we've got 6 for the side, 6 for the total. So here we've got Pelicans 116 to 104. So we have them favored by about 13. Vegas is only favoring 6.5. So this is, since we have a difference of more than 5, which is 6, this is where we would have a play. So you can see here the Pelicans ended up winning 130 to 101. So they end up, breaking out by 18 in that last quarter. So that was an easy cover. As far as the total here, this one came up late. Now, this is one thing I want to point out. Now, this was not on our plays, at least I don't think so. So we can see the total opened at 222, and we had it at 220. So at that time, it was a difference of 2. So when I ran the PM sheet, it did not pop as a play. Now, this line moved from 222 to 226.5. It moved up 4 points, and then that created the 226 between the 220, a 6.7. So you could have called that a play if you ran this sheet right before lock and caught that. You could have said, hey, I'm going to do this as a play, except for this would have been an underplay and it would have lost because we were at 231. But with this, with something moving that quick, that late in the day, that's probably one I would just stay away from, because 4 points in the last couple of hours, that's a lot of movement. But anyways, whatever you wanted to do would have been fine there. Golden State, San Antonio, quick glance here. The total, we're pretty close. The difference on the side is 12.7. That's greater than 5. So we had Golden State once again by 12, 122 to 110. And we look up here, Golden State's getting +1. We got them winning by 12. Of course, Golden State is the play. And then they end up winning 114 to 91 as a +1 dog and winning that game. So that was one of our other wins. Sacramento, Philly, they were both below 5, so we didn't make a play on that one. Utah was one I really liked before I even saw the line. So we had Utah by 12, winning 115 to 103 with a 5.8 difference. Since that was over 5, we go up here. We're going to lay the 6. We got them winning by 12. And they ended up, where'd you guys go? And they ended up winning 122 to 108. So they scored a little bit more points than what we thought, but either way, they covered it, and that was the end of our 4-0 night for last night, which could have been 4-1 if you would have went and looked. And then you click down here to Orlando and Portland, and you see 4.8 and 4.4. So we didn't have a play there. We did have Portland by 11. They were laying 6. They end up winning by 9, I believe. And then the total we had at 224, and it had moved from 223 down to 222. So it was sliding down, and it ended up going under. So that was from yesterday. So we're going to look at today's sheet. So whenever you open up the sheet for the day, let me get this one open. You're going to see down here, let me see if you can see that on your screen. Yep, you see down here, running background query. It just disappeared. Okay, it was there, I promise. Let me close this. Now when we come up and we look at the plays for today, let me try to get that in the center of the screen. Let's open this up so you can see it. Okay. All right, so we're going to flip down. We're going to go through the plays for today, which I've already posted them. Typically what I do, the reason I wait till about lunchtime is so every game has a Vegas line. You can see there was a huge jump here for Toronto. It pretty much opened at pick and jumped to 5, so it moved 4.5 points. We got the Vegas money. They're on Toronto in the over. Quick glance over here. We've got Toronto by 18, and this is 234.5. It was 235.5 this morning, and we got it about 226, so we got it going under with Toronto winning. Still no line on this game. It might have been postponed. Honestly, I haven't looked. Brooklyn, Indy, we have a difference of 10.9 on the spread, so we've got an under. So it's 235.5. We got it at 225, so we have a lean to an under there. Minnesota Clippers, I'm going to glance here. They're less than 5. That's too close. And those games, you could dig in and look at some of these advanced stats and find a play, but I'm just sticking with model plays, difference of 5, and those are the ones I'm tracking right now. Here we have a huge difference of 16.2. So we have Charlotte winning this game 119 to 106 by 12, and they're a 4-point dog. Now they are getting the majority of the side money and the spread money, so we like grabbing the points there, +4. That was one of our plays. Come over here to Chicago. So this is borderline. So 5.0 is kind of my number. We have the Pelicans by 7, and they're 2.5. So if you wanted to play an extra game, you could throw the Pelicans in there, but since it's below 5, I'm not including it on the sheet for tracking purposes. Come over here to Cleveland. Difference of 5 on the dot. So that's the one where, do we say greater than 5? Do we say 5 and more? That's just something you got to decide what you want to play. For purposes of this, I'm going to do anything that is 5.0 and higher. So Cleveland's plus 9.5. We've got them losing by only 4, so that gives us a 5-point cushion. So here we're going to lean Cleveland plus 9.5. That's a lot of points, especially when you've got a team that's 5-6 at home and they've lost 3 straight games, and they're only 43% to cover the spread. Now, Cleveland's only 40% covering the spread, so that's not much better, but either way, that's one where we're going to lean a play on. So we've got OKC and the Lakers going up to 232 points, difference of 14.1, and you can see this total is 217, 218. Depending on your book, these are going to change a half a point to a point. The one thing that worries me with this is Lakers are almost a money under team. I mean, the majority of the time. But we've got this leaning over. 217 is not a lot of points to get over, so that's where we're leaning that play for today. The side's only 3.3 different, so we're going to fade that one. And then our last play of the day, we've got Milwaukee here, which is a 6.5 point differ. And so you can see we got them winning 117 to 106 by 11. They're only laying 4.5, so since we're a difference of 6.5, then we're going to play Milwaukee here minus 4.5. So this is a rough idea of how you get the plays, what I'm looking at. So I post the sheet. I usually, before lunch, after lunch, I come and run it, and I write down all of the plays with our differences. I track everything that's plus, minus, greater, or 5. I usually try to post them at least 3 or 4 days a week and share them with you guys to get your feedback, let you follow along, see what you think. And then there's videos on the website for these other advanced stats if you want to get into them and how we come up with the range of outcomes. And our totals have been really good. The sides have been kind of hit and miss. They've been real hot recently when we put the threshold of 5. So this is just my new member video for people to try out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Shoot me a message. I'm happy to help. Bear with me if I get bogged down with a lot of questions. Sometimes it does take me a little bit to get back, but I will respond to you. So good luck, guys, and hopefully we can keep the streak going.